Next thing I want to talk about here, speaking of classic minis, it has just been brought to my attention a few days ago anyways, that At Games, the creators of a couple other Sega classics, will be releasing a Sega Megadrive Flashback HD Mini. Now, I have the original one right here. This is the original Megadrive system that At Games released a few years ago. I picked it up for pretty cheap. And I'm going to say that's exactly what it is. It's pretty cheap. I didn't really care for it, honestly. I mean, I understand the nostalgia to it. But as far as the controller, I mean, the controller is really, really weak, really poor made. The D-pad is awful. I just didn't really have a great time with it. I mean, yeah, it had some preloaded games on there, like your Sonic games and Mortal Kombat and everything. It was fun for a while and everything. But it's just one of those things where it was like, it claims that you can play the old Sega games, cartridges, actually on the console itself, which I tried it. The game worked fine on there. It looked great. I could not play it with the D-pad or with the actual controller that came with it. I did not, however, try hooking up a regular Sega controller to it. But I did try the wireless one that came with it, and I could not play the game. The game played on the TV through the console, but I could not play it on here. So, like I mentioned, this is the original At Games Megadrive Flashback. So I did pick up that one. And I know I'm a sucker here. I picked up sorry for the box being kind of crappy, but I picked up the portable version of the Sega Genesis. This thing's almost close to something like the Game Gear. I mean, it doesn't look like the Game Gear, obviously, but it's portable. That's the main reason why I picked it up. And another big reason why I picked it up is the fact that you can put your own ROMs on here. So you can download your own games on the actual SD card here, and you can play them in this console here, in this system. And I'm going to tell you right now, one thing I don't like about this thing is that the screen is tiny. That's a definite flaw, of course. It doesn't look very good, but the biggest thing that is really awful about it is the fact that the sound quality is like so generic, it's ridiculous. But it sounds awful. It doesn't sound good whatsoever. And you can hook this thing up to the TV as well too, and play it through your audio and video jacks, and it sounds just as bad. Doesn't make it any better. So far they have strike 2, and this will be strike 3 for me because, like I mentioned, At Games will be releasing a Megadrive Flashback HD. This thing is designed to look like the original Model 1 Sega Genesis, which I loved. So again, I will pick this thing up for a collector's edition. It will be pretty cool, I'm pretty sure, but we'll see how that goes. It's going to have your 85 games pre-installed, kind of like how these have here. You get 2 wireless controllers, which like the original one came with as well. You're going to have a cartridge slot, like the original one did, so that's definitely a plus as long as it plays with the controllers. You're going to have the HDMI output, so that's something that this did not come with. This did not have HDMI. So the new one, the HD one, will play HDMI in 720p. Also, another thing that it's going to have that this does not have is a suspend and restore feature. So eventually, you'll be able to actually play the games, suspend them to save them, and then of course restore them to come back to continue your game. So that's definitely a plus. That's something that the NES Classic has as well, an actual save point feature. This thing is going to be available for pre-order now. Actually, it's available now for pre-order, sorry. It is $60 US. I paid about $40, I think, for the original one here, and I paid $35 for the handheld portable one. So $60, same price as the NES Classic. To me, it's a little steep, but hey, if it works, it plays HD, and you can play your original games on there as well too, and they play, then I'm okay with that. Again, I'm still going to pick it up because it's a classic edition. It's a collector's edition. If I want to play these games, sure, I can go play them on an emulator. I can go play them on a Raspberry Pi like I mentioned earlier, but I want this thing for my shelf, and I want it for a collector's edition, obviously. Some of the games that's preloaded is your typical ones. That's on both these consoles as well too. That's Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. Of course, you got your Sonic the Hedgehog games. You got Golden Axe. Another game they added this time around is Phantasy Star 4, which is a great game, of course. You got Golden Axe 1 and 2. And you got your non-Sega Genesis games, which I don't know why they put these on there. I honestly have no idea why they even bother putting these games on there. Games like Air Hockey, Bubble Master, Hide and Seek. There's probably some more that's on here too that they just threw in there. You got games like Brain Switch. Everybody remembers that classic. Bulls and Cows, another great one. Cannon, Checker. Let me see if I can find a really weird one here. Cross the Road. Everybody wants Cross the Road. Everybody wants that game. So not only will I have Cross the Road on here, but I'll have it on my HD Sega Megadrive Flashback as well too. So I'm happy for that. And honestly, I'm just joking there, but honestly here, I am excited for this thing. It does come out September the 15th. I think it's going to be pretty cool to have these in HDMI, of course, and HD quality. And, of course, like I mentioned, it's going to be great to see this thing on my shelf along with the NES Classic and hopefully this holiday season, the SNES Classic. So we'll see how it goes. But, again, the Sega @Games Sega Mega Drive will be releasing on September the 15th for $60 US. Will you guys be picking it up? Let me know in the comments section or shoot me an email, Facebook, on Twitter, and let us know here if you're going to be picking one up and if you're excited for this release on September the 15th.